The moment I opened my eyes in the hospital, weak and barely able to breathe, I saw a message that nearly stopped my heart completely. While I was fighting for my life, my own daughter had brought strangers into my home, moved out my belongings, and sold the house I worked my whole life to build. She thought I would never wake up to see what she had done, but I did. And what happened next left everyone in shock. I opened my eyes for the first time in weeks, weak and confused, the beeping sound of machines surrounding me. I had been fighting for my life in the hospital after a sudden heart problem. My hands were shaking as I reached for my phone on the small table beside my bed. When I turned it on, hundreds of missed messages popped up. But one message, one single message, froze my blood. It was from my neighbor, Mrs. Collins. She wrote, "Margaret, I tried to stop her. Your daughter brought strange men to your house. They moved your things out. They said the house has been sold." For a moment, I could not breathe. My own daughter, my only child, selling my house while I was lying half dead in the hospital. I tried to sit up, but the pain shot through my chest. I pressed my hand over my mouth to stop myself from screaming. The house I worked for all my life, gone. Sold. And she thought I would never find out because she believed I would die in the hospital bed. As the shock took over my body, a nurse rushed in. "Mrs. Margaret, please stay calm. Your heart is still weak." I stared at her with tears rolling down my face. "My daughter, she sold my house." The nurse paused, confused and worried. "What do you mean?" But before I could explain, my phone buzzed again. Another message. This time from an unknown number. "The sale is complete. Keys handed over. Congratulations." My heart thumped loudly. Those messages were proof. Proof that everything I owned had been taken from me. The walls around me felt like they were closing in. I dropped the phone, covered my face, and cried like a child. How could my own blood betray me like this? Just then, the door creaked open again. A tall man in a suit stood there, holding a folder. He asked, "Mrs. Margaret Green?" "Yes," I whispered. He stepped closer. "I am here regarding your property transfer. There are some final papers you must sign." My breath stopped. Papers. Property. Transfer. He opened the folder slowly. Inside were documents with my name. My house. Signed away. He said, "Your daughter told us you agreed to sell everything before your surgery." I felt like the world was spinning. My daughter forged my name. She used my sickness to steal my home. Before I could speak, before I could even gather my breath to protest, he added quietly, "If you refuse to sign now, the buyer may press charges for delay." My eyes widened. Charges. Against me. For a house I never agreed to sell. The man placed a pen in front of me. I stared at the papers. My shaking hand hovered over the page. And then, I heard footsteps approaching. Familiar footsteps. The sound made every hair on my skin rise. It was my daughter. She walked into the hospital room with a bright smile, acting like nothing was wrong. "Mum, you're awake. How are you feeling?" But when she saw the papers in front of me, her face changed instantly. Her smile dropped. Her eyes widened. And she whispered, "Mum, you weren't supposed to see that." The room fell silent. We locked eyes. And before I could speak a word, she rushed forward and grabbed the documents from my hands. "Give me that," she shouted. Her voice echoed through the room. That was the exact moment I realized my daughter was ready to do anything, absolutely anything, to keep her secret. The man in the suit stepped back as my daughter snatched the documents from my hands. His eyes widened, unsure whether to intervene or step out. The nurse who had been checking my IV froze in place, watching the sudden chaos unfold. My daughter held the papers tightly against her chest, breathing fast, like someone trying to protect stolen treasure. "Give me those papers back," I said softly. I tried not to raise my voice. My chest still hurt, and every sudden movement felt like knives under my ribs. "No, Mum," she snapped. "You don't understand. You just woke up. You're confused. You need to rest." "Rest," I whispered. "Rest while you sell the only home I have." She looked away. Guilt flashed on her face for a moment, but then she forced a small smile, acting calm. "Mum, be reasonable. The house was too big. Too much work. I was only trying to help you. You needed money for treatment, remember?" I felt tears sting my eyes. I never asked you to sell anything. She stayed quiet. Her jaw tightened. The man in the suit finally cleared his throat. Excuse me, is there a problem here? Because if the client is refusing the sale, we need to update the buyer immediately. My daughter's eyes shot towards him like a warning. There is no problem. My mother agreed. I have everything under control. But the man didn't seem convinced. He stepped forward again. Ma'am, legally, you need to confirm. My daughter panicked. She's not in the right mental state. Do you want her to collapse right here? Do you want to be responsible for that? The nurse frowned. She is perfectly alert. My daughter glared at her. You don't know my mother. Actually, the nurse replied calmly, I know when someone is being pressured. The room grew even more tense. I could feel the energy shift. My daughter was losing control of the situation, and she knew it. She grabbed my hand, squeezing tightly. Mum, please, don't embarrass us. I'm trying to fix everything. Fix, I whispered. Or take everything. She flinched. The man stepped closer again. Mrs. Margaret, if you do not confirm the sale, the contract is invalid. My daughter whirled around and snapped, Can you wait outside? He hesitated, then nodded and stepped out. The nurse glanced at me, gave a small nod of courage, and left too. Now it was just the two of us. My daughter leaned in close. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Mum, listen to me carefully. If you cancel this sale, I will be ruined. I've already collected money. A lot of money. And I've spent part of it. My heart dropped. Spent? On what? She looked away again. On things you don't need to know. But if the buyer gets angry, he can take me to court. I can go to jail. Why didn't you ask me? I said quietly. Why didn't you wait to see if I would survive? Why did you assume I would die? She looked at me with eyes full of fear and shame. Because, the doctor said you might not make it. I swallowed hard. So instead of praying for me, you sold my life away. She didn't answer. For a moment, everything was quiet. Only the beeping machine by my bedside broke the silence. I could see her hands shaking. I could see the desperation in her eyes. She was scared. But she wasn't sorry. Not truly. Then she said something that made my stomach twist. Mum, if you love me, you will sign those papers. If you don't, everything will fall apart for me. And I can't let that happen. I stared at her. She used love like a weapon. Like a rope around my neck. But before I could respond, the door swung open again. The same man rushed in, breathless. Mrs. Green, he said quickly, we have a serious problem. The buyer is here. He says the house is already his. And he wants to speak to you right now. My daughter's face turned pale as a sheet. She whispered, no, he wasn't supposed to. Come here. The buyer's footsteps echoed down the hall. And the door handle began to turn. The door handle turned slowly, and my daughter froze like a statue. Her fingers tightened around the papers she had grabbed earlier. I watched her chest rise and fall quickly. She wasn't just scared, she was terrified. The door opened, and a tall man with a strong build stepped inside. He looked like someone who always got what he wanted. His sharp eyes scanned the room before landing on me. Then he glanced at my daughter with a look that made her take one step back. So, he said in a calm but firm voice, you must be Mrs. Margaret Green. I swallowed hard. Yes, that's me. He nodded. My name is Mr. Daniels. I purchased your house last week. My daughter forced a shaky smile. Yes, and everything is fine. We were just. He raised a hand, silencing her instantly. I didn't come here for you. I came to speak to your mother. My heart started to race. I wasn't used to confrontation, especially lying weak in a hospital bed. But something about the way he stood made me feel like I had to protect myself. I never agreed to sell my house, I said softly. His eyebrows lifted slightly. So the signature on the contract is not yours? No, I answered. I was in surgery the day those papers were signed. My daughter shook her head quickly. Mum, stop. You're confused. I said stop, Mr. Daniel snapped at her. His tone was cold. You told me your mother signed everything willingly. You swore she was aware. She opened her mouth but no words came out. He continued, you told me the house needed to be sold urgently to cover medical bills. You told me she wanted a quick sale. My daughter's lips trembled. I had no choice. You had a choice, he said firmly. You chose to lie. I could see sweat forming on her forehead. She stepped closer to me, as if she wanted to hide behind my bed. Mr. Daniels held out a folder. Mrs. Green, this is the contract. If you confirm that your signature is fake, I have to report fraud. My daughter gasped loudly. No, please, don't do that. I can explain. He ignored her. Mrs. Green, yes or no? I looked at the papers, then at my daughter. She wouldn't meet my eyes. She stared at the floor like a child caught stealing. My signature is fake, I said quietly. My daughter let out a small cry, covering her mouth with her hand. Mr. Daniels nodded slowly. Thank you for telling the truth. I will have to take this up legally. Mum, please, my daughter cried. Please don't let him do that. I swear I was going to tell you. I just needed. He cut her off again. Be quiet. You stole money. You stole a house. You lied. And you thought no one would find out. My daughter dropped to her knees beside my bed. She held my hand tightly, her tears falling onto the sheets. Mum, please, I beg you. Don't let them take me away. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was desperate. I didn't know if you would survive. She broke down into sobs. For a moment, my heart softened. She was still my child. But I also remembered the messages, the lies, the betrayal, the way she tried to force me to sign the papers. Mr. Daniels cleared his throat. Mrs. Green, the buyer before me backed out because of her attitude. I was the second. She rushed everything. And now, I want my money back. All of it. My daughter froze mid-sob. I don't have all of it anymore, she whispered. His eyes narrowed. Then you need to get it. She looked at me with pure fear. Mum, please, help me. I felt trapped, torn between anger and motherly instinct. Just then, the nurse walked in again, confused by the scene. Is everything all right? Before I could answer, Mr. Daniels spoke first. No, everything is not all right. I need this woman out of the hospital room right now. She is creating trouble. He pointed at my daughter. My daughter jumped up. Don't you dare push me out. This is my mum. But the nurse pressed a call button. Security will come now. The moment she said that, my daughter's eyes widened with panic. She looked at me, breathing fast. Mum, please, don't let them take me out. Please say something. But before I could speak, heavy footsteps echoed in the hall. Security was coming, and my daughter whispered the most desperate words I had ever heard leave her lips. If I leave this room now, everything will fall apart. 2 security guards stepped into the room, their presence filling the space with quiet authority. My daughter stiffened the moment she saw them. Her hands trembled, and her eyes darted around the room like a trapped animal searching for an escape. Ma'am, one of the guards said calmly, we received a call about a disturbance. We need you to step outside. No, please, she shouted, stepping back until she bumped into my bed. You don't understand. This is my mother. I'm not leaving her. Mr. Daniels folded his arms. She forged legal papers. She lied. And she stole. Remove her. Wait, I said weakly, trying to push myself up. The pain tightened across my chest. I wasn't sure if I was trying to protect her or simply trying to stop the chaos. Please, just slow down. I need to think. But my daughter grabbed my hand again. Her fingers were cold and shaking. Mum, please, please don't let them take me away. I'll fix everything. I promise. I'll get the money. I'll undo the sale. Just don't let them drag me out like a criminal. Ma'am, the guard repeated, step outside peacefully. No, she snapped, her voice cracking. I'm not going anywhere. Then she did something none of us expected. She ran to the door to block it, pressing her back against it with both hands stretched wide. You'll have to carry me out if you want me gone. Mr. Daniel sighed in frustration. This is ridiculous. The nurse stepped closer to me. Mrs. Margaret, this stress is not good for your heart. You need calm. Calm was impossible. The room felt like a boiling pot ready to spill over. Please tell them to stop. My daughter cried out, her voice shaking. I am not a bad person. I thought you were dying, Mum. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. She pointed at Mr. Daniels. And he threatened me. He said if I didn't sell the house fast, he would pull out the deal. Mr. Daniels immediately shot back, that is a lie. You came to me begging to sell it quickly. You said your mother approved everything. My daughter's voice cracked. I needed the money. I had debts. I didn't mean for it to go this far. My heart sank. Debts. What debts? She froze. Her lips pressed together. Her eyes flicked toward the floor. She didn't want to answer. The older guard stepped forward. Ma'am, let's step outside and talk. You're scaring the patients. I'm not going anywhere, she screamed. Her voice echoed so loudly that even the patients in the hallway peeked toward the room. She turned back to me, sobbing. Mum, please don't let them take me. I'm begging you. Tears ran down my cheeks. I hated seeing her like this. But I also remembered the lies. The forged signature. The messages. The way she tried to force me to sign away my home. My daughter suddenly rushed back to my bedside and grabbed my wrist tightly. Mum, if they take me out of this room, you will never see me again. I will be gone. I can't face what's waiting outside. Please don't let them. Her voice cracked with a kind of fear I had never seen from her. She wasn't acting now. She was truly scared. The guards moved closer. All right, the first guard said. We're removing her. No, she screamed, grabbing onto the side of my hospital bed and refusing to let go. They pulled her gently, but she fought fiercely, crying, yelling, refusing to move. Mum, Mum, say something, she cried. Please, don't let them take me. Her voice was breaking. I felt sick watching her dragged away from me. Even after everything she did, she was still my child. But before I could speak, before I could decide whether to defend her or let her go, she suddenly pulled away from the guards with a burst of desperate strength. She lunged toward the bedside table and snatched something sharp, a metal pair of scissors. Everyone froze instantly. She held the scissors in her shaking hand, pointing them toward herself. The guards stepped back. The nurse gasped. Mr. Daniels' face turned white, and my daughter shouted with tears running down her face. If anyone touches me again, I will hurt myself. The room fell into a deep, cold silence. My daughter stood there holding the scissors with trembling hands. Her chest rose and fell in sharp breaths. The guards froze, their hands raised slightly, afraid to make a single wrong move. The nurse covered her mouth. Even Mr. Daniels, who had been confident and firm, suddenly looked unsure. Put it down, I whispered, my heart pounding dangerously fast. Please, sweetheart, put it down. No, she cried. No one understands. Everyone thinks I'm evil. Everyone thinks I wanted to hurt you. Her voice cracked. I didn't want to lose everything. I didn't want to lose you. I didn't want to go to jail. Her knees shook. She looked like she could collapse at any moment. Mr. Daniels tried to speak gently. Listen carefully. No one here wants you hurt. Just put the scissors down and we can talk calmly. She shook her head violently. Talk. You want to ruin me. You want to throw me in jail. The guards tried to step forward, but she jerked the scissors closer to herself. Don't come near me, she screamed. I took a slow breath. Look at me, I said softly. Just me. Her eyes found mine. Broken, scared, lost. Honey, I said, reaching my hand out, you made a terrible mistake. But hurting yourself will not fix anything. It will only destroy you and me. Her hand shook even harder. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I didn't think you would wake up. I thought you would die. I thought I had to save myself. Those words cut deeper than any knife ever could. I forced myself to stay calm. You should have waited. You should have trusted that your mother would fight to live. But you didn't. You acted out of fear. And fear makes people do foolish things. But you are still my daughter. Her chin quivered. But now, I continued, my voice steady, you must take responsibility. Running won't fix this. Threatening yourself won't fix this. You must face what you did. She sobbed loudly. I can't. You can, I said firmly. And you will. Because if you don't, you will lose me forever. That hit her. She blinked slowly, tears pouring down her face. Her grip on the scissors loosened. I stretched my hand a little farther. Give it to me, please. Let me help you the right way. She stared at me, her eyes full of pain, then full of surrender. Finally, her fingers opened. The scissors clattered to the floor. The guards immediately stepped forward, but gently this time. They didn't grab her roughly. They held her shoulders carefully, guiding her away from the danger. She didn't fight anymore. She just cried, softly, tired, broken. Mr. Daniels picked up the scissors from the floor and handed them to a nurse before walking to my bedside. "We won't press criminal charges," he said quietly. "As long as the money is returned. I'm not here to destroy anyone's family." I nodded weakly. "Thank you," he added, "but the house contract must be cancelled. We will handle that legally." I agreed. It was the right thing. The guards escorted my daughter to a quiet room down the hall where she could calm down. She kept looking back at me with tearful eyes before disappearing around the corner. The nurse adjusted my IV and sat beside me. "You need rest, Mrs. Margaret. Your heart has been through too much today." I wiped my eyes carefully. "My daughter, will she be okay?" "She will get support," the nurse said. "But she needs you to stay alive. So you must rest now." I leaned back slowly, breathing deeply, letting the pain wash out of me little by little. Hours later, when things finally quieted down, I closed my eyes and thought about everything that happened. The lies, the betrayal, the desperation, the fear, the daughter I raised, and the woman she became. But I also remembered the lesson life had just taught me. When you are weak, you discover who truly stands with you. And sometimes, even the ones you love the most can fall, not because they are evil, but because they are scared. My home could be rebuilt. My trust would take time. But my heart still chose forgiveness, because that was the only way any of us could heal. When my daughter returned to my room that evening, eyes red and face swollen, she sat beside my bed quietly. "I'm sorry, Mum," she whispered. I took her trembling hand. "Then let this be the last time fear makes you hurt the people who love you." She nodded, sobbing softly, and laid her head on my arm. Together, we started the slow, painful journey of fixing what was broken. Not just the house, but our hearts.